Okay, we're starting an AI podcast to talk about how AI is finally ready. And I won't drop an F bomb on accident when I hit the record button, and I won't hit the back button of my mouse so I don't mess up the recording. Here we go. Join with Noah Wickham, second future CEO of My Amazon Guy. Soon to see tenures and seasons a little bit. Get that steak sizzling for me. And we just launched the service MagAI or Magi, which is kind of cool to say.
I was thinking the Magi. I as I've been like toying away with them, like, it kind of works.
Yeah, it's what we named the Chat GPT version of My Amazon Guy's SOP book. We had like 2 people ever purchase it, though. It was like one of the worst launches we ever did for the amount of effort we put in. 10 out of 10 would not do again. So in our conversation today, we're going to be talking about AI. And the real interesting part is I don't know what we're going to have the conversation on. So it just depends on where Noah wants to take it. But for those that have been watching our other content on AI, you've heard us talk about how AI is finally ready. You've heard us talk about how the secret sauce to this is the ingredients, a la data, SOPs, which Mag is fantastic at, which is why we're doing this. So Noah, I want you to try and do your best here to give us some real world examples of what we can actually do to help people. And while it sounds like a giant advertisement, and it absolutely is, the reason why I think this is important to start on is because most people just know AI is good, but I don't know what to do with it. And these real world examples will break that down. So Noah, do me a favor, give me an actual business genre and what we can do to help them and why it matters.
Yeah, I think the easiest one to probably choose would be literally any sales org, right? And I say that from the aspect of here at Mag, we obviously do a ton of sales, right? And we have an entire built out system. We have a team, and we invested in a software before AI was kind of cool called Gong. And Gong was kind of ahead of the curve when it came to this exact kind of structure of utilizing AI to give insights, to pull different data. Now, the one thing that
on steroids, essentially.
Yes. And the one thing Gong realistically has had over every other AI company and AI out there up until recent times, in my opinion, is just a lot of data, right? And that's what separates like giant AIs and everything from the smaller ones nowadays. So Gong had millions and millions and millions of hours of sales calls that it trained all of its AI on. So it has all of that training in the back end. Big thing that we have done, and we've seen though with something like Gong on even our structure, is this aspect that Gong misses the minutia, for instance. So Gong was very much obviously trained and built off of SaaS sales, which SaaS sales are a very different just ball game than I think, B2B service sales are in a lot of different ways, and having different types of pain and different ways that customers talk. And so one of the things that we have done internally is utilized AI to build out quick systems where we can pull all of our sales calls and all of our data in to pull out very specific, even in some cases, key phrases where we wanted to know what are the top 5 things that people find painful about being a seller on Amazon. And so what did we do? We couldn't get that data from Gong. It just doesn't have it, right? It doesn't understand Amazon seller lingo. And so we used a tool, an AI coding tool called Replit, to actually build out the actual app that allows us to basically crawl all of our calls in Gong and then say, here are the top 5. It actually spits out 20, but here are the top 5 or 20 pain points that are most frequently talked about on sales calls.
And why did we do this? Was it because the CEO asked?
It was, in fact, because
why did I ask for it?
You wanted to keep the pulse of what people are talking about, and you wanted to get an understanding of if the actual Amazon ecosystem and seller ecosystem, the common pain points that we all know, you know them, I know them, but we wanted to see, is that actually still the case, right?
And
It was.
Was
It was near spot on. It had not changed in 2 or 3 years, regardless of the fact that, you know, the entire ecosystem changed and everything.
FEACs,
Exactly.
and
Everything
sellers.
changes. PPC, ad, you know, profitability, those are always going to be the top pain points for any business owner, which I think further points into that aspect of AI in general, right? And why we actually even, you know, started MagAI, which Steven just called me on a Thursday when I was out having a burger with my lovely girlfriend. And
This was less than 4 full days ago, guys.
yeah. He had an idea. He's like, Noah, can we do this? I said, probably. And now we have a full-fledged site. We have everything needed.
So I'm going to go ahead and be honest here. This didn't come to me in a vision. I got a text message from a dude out of Minnesota named Jim. And Jim and I go back. And really great guy. He would probably say he's a failed Amazon seller. And he's had a lot of challenges.
Aren't we all?
I am. Jeez, that's painful. And Jim was texting back and he's like, Steven, what's next for you? And I'm like, I don't freaking know. I don't know. This divorce that I went through was so hard. And my brain is like completely off. I don't know what I want to do next. I know I want to get into a bigger vehicle, but I don't know what that is. And selling on Amazon is so hard. I don't want to do that again. It's easier to run my agency, which is really hard by itself. And the agency's shrinking. And I'm like, I can't crack this. I put Noah in charge and I'm like, Noah, fix it. Noah couldn't. And he's doing a good job. But like he's getting C's gets degree results. Right.
We're doing our best over here.
Yeah. And like we're all on the same page. We know there's effort. We know we're doing the right things, and we're still quote unquote failing. And by the way, I've been on record for 8 years saying I have no idea how to manage a company with the elevator on the way down. I only know how to manage it on the way up. And so because of that, we're in uncharted territory. So I'm texting Jim and I'm like, I don't know. And Jim says, dude, you know what's special about you, Steven? I'm like, there's nothing special about me. No. and he says, you have done something that I don't know anybody else has. You went from a single dude in a basement to a 500-person organization in 3 freaking years. You took interns and made them into Amazon experts and set the entire industry standard with your SOPs. And I'm like, yeah, I did that, but who cares? And he's like, Steven, this isn't teachable. Nobody can replicate this. I'm like, come on, it's easy. Why can't other people do it? And he's like, no, dude, you don't get it, man. I can't do this. Nobody can do this, but you did it. You should be taking this knowledge and integrating it into AI services. And I'm like, what do you mean, Jim? AI is not ready. It sucks. And, I get it. Nano Banana 2.0 this and ChatGPT got a release here and Perplexity's trying to buy Chrome and whatever AI news of the flavor of the week, right? But he goes on to explain and says everybody needs AI. And I'm like, well, I mean, kind of. Everybody's using a chat conversation, sure, to find information or write shitty LinkedIn posts. But like, do they really need it? And he's like, yeah, dude, every meeting I go to, everybody's talking about how to improve their AI integration. And I'm like, every meeting? He's like, yeah, every meeting. But if I was in those meetings, I'd be so tired about hearing about this. And he said, I don't think anybody's tired about hearing about this. They're just clueless. They don't know what to do. You should sell them done for you AI services because you can take your processes, SOPs, manuscripts, etc., and burn it down into this AI process. And I said, Jim, I love this idea. I'm going to go implement it. And I immediately called Noah.
It was really funny because you call me and you sounded exactly like this right now, where you were like, no, we have to do this thing. And I was like a bit confused at the moment because this was just like left field. And then it took all of maybe 2 minutes and my reaction went from very confused to, yeah, we could probably do that.
Yeah. Okay. So
and
the hypothesis
with AI.
this is the hypothesis, and then you can continue. So in 2 years, we're going to have the AI singularity event. And for those that don't know what that is, and you're going to hear me talk about it in a lot of videos because nobody understands this except those that do. And this event is when AI is so powerful, it changes the entire world. It's a black swan event. And we can't predict anything beyond this event. Everything changes. Nobody knows what the heck's going to go on. But the one thing that I'm confident in is that people are going to need to use AI in 2 years from now. So Amazon seller agencies may or may not exist. I think they will. I'm betting that they will, but they may not. And if they don't, that really sucks because I just had to pay my wife out for the value of my business. Now it would suck really bad if it didn't exist because then I paid a premium and then I lost my business. So to avoid that, we're going to start pivoting over to help businesses with AI. Now we're obviously continuing all of our current services with my Amazon guy and helping out Amazon sellers and all that good stuff. But now we're going to help those clients plus new clients tackling new problems. Okay. All right. So Noah, I came to you this with the idea. Last week, you heard me talk about moonshotting, going to China with Ken Zhu, who's Chinese background, speaks some Mandarin, kind of maybe. And
Shishi.
You know, yeah, ni hao. And so we're like, okay, maybe we could start selling to Chinese sellers. And I call it a moonshot idea because I don't know if we can actually do it, right? Because I don't think we could.
I think better yet, one of the very first things when you had the idea that came to my mind, I told Ken this on a call, was I was like, do you know how many videos and LinkedIn posts there are that Steve and I have made talking about Chinese sellers in probably not the best of light out there? I'm like, I'm a bit afraid to step foot in the country.
Yeah. And so Ken, who he's thinking like, oh, we got to tackle this like the Chinese would. And Ken's like, we got to go over there and, I don't know the right way to phrase this, but go bow down and worship the Chinese god of sorts, a la press some money in some hands and make some politics and stuff. And I was like, that is a terrible idea. We are cowboys over here. There's no way we're going to survive the Eastern language with a Western attempt to be Eastern. No, we have to embrace all of the things that we have said about Chinese sellers and go over there and say, yeah, we're still saying those things. We think you guys
do better.
We think you guys are cheating and you have a culture of bribery. And that we're telling the truth because you're asking for us for money to get into your little congregation over there. And we know that that we know. So we're not gonna lie and say, oopsie, we're sorry for saying the truth, because that's still the truth. And if we were to lie, then we'd be violating our current customer set, a la US and European sellers.
Who all have mostly come with that same mentality themselves.
Yes, it's all of us against Amazon. And then here's the thing I've never said out loud, but kind of bullet point B, it's all of us against China. And all right, so we got China tariffs. We got a lot more China sellers coming out of the woodwork, whereas the US sellers are shrinking, at least proportionately for the number of new apps, et cetera, et cetera. So it's harder for us to run the business. We are shrinking our business itself. We're down to 411 employees. We're at 500 about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And we might have even topped out at like 526, I think, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere around the time that actually, I would say probably a year and a half ago, we hit like 515. And that was a moment where I think we all stepped back and we were like, we have some bloat here, right? Because at the time, that was coming off the months of like some really, really good sales months, sure, but we also had like real bad churn months. And so like it didn't add up, right? And one of the major things in the last, I think, couple of months, especially that you and I have also talked about in depth is the aspect of like, we're not just cutting heads to cut heads, right? We're still fairly stagnated, down a little bit comparatively last year, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of what we're actually cutting when it comes to certain people is more so in a way of just getting more efficient, right? So the recent designer
with AI.
Yes. So like that was a very big aspect where we found a tool that allows designers to get out revision A, B before, getting the fine tune of revision C after getting actual client sentiment and client feedback and building out entire brand profiles. Right. And
So we're our own use case study proving that you can do this at scale in a 400 plus organization. And if we can do it for ourselves, why can't we do it for someone else?
Yeah. That's the entire aspect, right? And getting back to the idea of like AI and everyone's going to need it. The thing that actually I think made me jump on board so quick with the idea initially was that the weekend prior, I was at my mom's house and I took my mom out to dinner for Valentine's Day because, good son over here.
Good son.
Yeah. And so I was talking with her at dinner. My mother is a 65-year-old woman and whatnot, and she has worked in kind of mental health care and everything her entire life. She's worked for like nonprofits, being on the executive team. And my mother is a tech savvy, like business person. Yes. But she's still a 65-year-old woman. And so I started talking to her about AI and like what we're doing at Mag with it and all this stuff. And she herself was like, oh yeah, we're using AI a ton. And that right there was like immediate to me where I'm like, my 65-year-old mother is utilizing AI. Please tell me more. And it's a big thing. Healthcare industry AI is completely separate from LLMs. Healthcare has been embracing this for years now and whatnot. All of those doctor's notes, everything that they do. I went to get my blood drawn last month. They have AI voice note recorders now. Now, how much do I really trust all of that? I'm hoping HIPAA still applies.
More than the doctor's handwriting, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's that use case where talking to my mother and like hearing that she is a use case of AI, right, was something that kind of immediately made me think there is, I think, a vast world out there where everyone right now, because AI has so much hype around like LLMs and just chatbots and like the basic things that you can do with, AI, like search. Perplexity's great at that. It gives you way better results than even, typical Google search. But there's so much more, right? You can now employ entire agents on virtual servers that can do entire admin tasks for you. That used to be, if you have a cleric in the back of your office, car dealerships, right? They have entire clerical team in the back who all they do is just paperwork all day long. Zero reason why you need to have a team doing that when you could have realistically 2 or 3 agents go through and do the exact process and it's all online anyways. Everyone's on the computer doing it, typing it in. There's no reason for that, right? And so these are some of the things that like immediately come to my mind as potential use cases we could employ at some point.
These are good use cases. All right. So when we first started talking 18 minutes ago, I wanted us to give real world examples because I think that AI is nebulous. It's so hard to like wrap my head around. Okay, I know I need AI. It's kind of like, okay, when you're a teenager, okay, I'm attracted to the opposite sex. I know I need sex, but how do I get it? What do I do when I get to that step? And I think that's where business civilization is at right now with AI. They're like, I know I need it. I think it'll feel good, but do I need some extra equipment? What do I need in the bed? And let's talk about making the bed. So give me another example. Tell me why you're picking that example.
I think the best, like just easy to call on example is our own website for MagAI that I myself built with just, an afternoon and a couple of prompts, right? And I'm not by any means a designer. I am not a, web specialist. I am not a, coder or anything like that. Do I obviously have some technical know-how? Of course. But it's one of those that even still with having AI, I think for most people, they might think, oh, fantastic. I can now use, Claude to make me a website, which I don't think is true. For reference standpoint, somebody who is still not very tech savvy is still going to be very untech savvy with AI. And that's where I think the aspect of creation comes into place, right? And building process to where AI can actually help. Furthermore, I think the biggest use case of like AI and biggest like real world example is our own mag source, which
Before we switch topics, why would somebody hire MagAI to build them an AI website? Like, why shouldn't they just go engage the traditional designer, UX guy, spend 4 weeks, 6 weeks building that out? Why use AI?
because with AI at this point in time, you can build out an entire multi-page website, get someone to deploy it, and that can all be done in an 8-hour workday, if that, if not even shorter. To be realistic, if you could even employ an agent to do it for you, and you would only have to do one thing only, and it's going to be cheaper, more efficient, and you just get to iterate off of things so quickly. And I think that's the biggest difference. Web design in general, sure, is there are some things that realistically you can't do, but I mean, for the most part, all of this is reactive, all of it built in directly into the site. This also, for reference, is all a matter of Java React mixed with HTML and CSS, obviously. And all of it was built into a custom theme template that we now have access to all of the code for as well. So it's not just like a plug and drop in. There's obviously still a lot of back end stuff you have to do, but mixing that in.
Can you use AI to program the favicon?
Yeah, actually we can.
All right, let's do that in real time. If you think you can do it, you think you can do it?
More than likely.
All right,
let's do it.
Share your screen when you're ready. Let's see if we can show people how we're going to tweak the website, which we literally put up less than a day ago with a fave icon change, which you have to get it to make the fave icon.
Let's do this one. There we go. Okay.
Now you don't have to have a UX guy on staff to make changes to a website. You can literally just be a CEO and say, I want the fave icon changed to our logo, or like a giant M, like it's got the box from the website.
And one of the really cool things when we're looking at this, right, when we're looking at Claude in general, is that Claude now also has a lot of built-in tools. So one of the biggest things is that if you're not already utilizing Opus, for instance, is that we can do things where we're actually taking skills from Claude. So Claude is an AI that has a lot of internal built skills into it for things such as coding. It has access to GitHub, so you can actually pull all GitHub resources. It does its own verification, which is one of the big aspects that if you utilize like a age-old AI such as, and there we go, we now have our fave icon. And even more so, we can take this fave icon and it gives us the entire thing. So we can actually take this, we'll download each of them, and we can head on over specifically to the website. And Claude gave us the entire instructions as well here. So let's share this tab. So we got to go over to, let's see, our appearance settings. We got
a WordPress going on.
We do. We have a WordPress going on. We're going to go to our site identity. We're going to select a logo. And we're just going to upload this little fave icon logo real quick.
Okay, so the agent can't go in and load it itself. We still have to know how to navigate.
It could. I just haven't set the agent to be able to do that itself.
Okay.
So I haven't connected the agent.
All right. So in our next video, I want that to demo just to prove it.
Sure. There we go. And now we have our own logo for the site as well.
Okay. So I'm going to refresh on my side, see if the fave icon, like you published it.
Yes.
Still not showing.
Now it's published. There you go.
Okay. I don't know if I have to like clear cache or what. Let me try a incognito browser maybe. So I'm going to do incognito magai.biz. Still not showing for me.
You want me to try my end? Because I think mine's showing. Yeah. Here we go. Let me do full screen here.
Yep. Go for it. Probably a caching issue on my side. I probably have to clear the cache.
So one of the big things that you're probably seeing is this at the end where, there you go.
Yep, there it is. Okay, so fave icon's loaded. We just did a live change to the website with minimal coding understanding. All we did was tell the AI what to do, why we were doing it, told us where to go load it. Now, there was one manual aspect that we didn't automate yet, and that was to make the physical upload, but Noah says we can do it for other people. So if you want to own your own website, never use a UX person or a designer, you hire us to set you up for permanent website control where you'll have an SOP and a bot that can go in there and edit it anytime you want. So you want to switch the rotated banner on the front page every day, no problem. You want to have a different type of carousel or program something out, we can do that for you as well. Make the graphics all in the bot, etc. So I like that. I like that entire use case. All right, so let's go to the next use case. Talking about Mag Source. So we have this library of information over at My Amazon Guy, where we've downloaded all of our Slack. We've downloaded our 2,500 SOPs, which we've made. I've written like 500 of those. You've probably written a couple hundred yourself. And we got access to all our YouTube videos and tutorials and Mag School courses, et cetera, et cetera. This data allows us to do phenomenal amounts of things. Tell me about your next use case.
So MagSource, I think and one of the funniest things with MagSource is that I think it came as almost a spite project from our COO, Ken, who wanted to basically prove that we could do it. We have invested as a company in, just tens of thousands of dollars into different service software providers for data, for pulling together, all these different working points, right? And the worst thing that we've ever found is that most companies end up having to utilize 5 to 10 different software providers for so many different data points, whether it's, your sales system plus your operations system plus your, finance system, all of these different things. And it's because each one of these different departments do different things at the end of the day, right? And so one of the things our COO, Ken, did is basically figured out that, guess what? We can migrate pretty much all of this into one platform in of ourselves, and that is what MagSource is. And so over the course of, pretty much a couple of all-nighters that he ended up pulling himself, vibe coded together the initial functions that were MagSource that allowed us to pull all of our customer data in. It allowed us to pull all of the sales data from each of our teams in, separate out team members internally, and then from there, built out a team of people who are utilizing nothing more than vibe code technology to actually do all of this, right? Now, the biggest aspect, and I think a lot of people, myself included, initially hear vibe code and they're like, oh, it's people who don't know programming. That's kind of the exact opposite. I think prompt engineering at this point is a skill of even of itself when it comes to software engineers, right? Because you have to, again, we're always talking about efficiency. So it doesn't matter if you have an internal IT team, or even better yet, if you're somebody who outsources your IT work right now for any form of troubleshooting, anything like that, we now have internal systems that do all of the troubleshooting for us. And all of that comes off of the backbone of being able to essentially quickly iterate at any point in time. That's
which by the way, I talk about iteration as one of my superpowers. And my superpower is not going to be good enough in 2 years from now because AI is going to out-iterate me. My spirit animal, the hummingbird, it's going to be co-opted, unfortunately.
My biggest thing, though, with that is that AI will always be able to iterate exceptionally quickly. It still is going to, up until the pivotal point, require at least one person to be like, that's the correct iteration.
Maybe when you load all of mankind's historical creativity all the way back to Adam and Eve, it will tell you what's best and will know best.
That's a scary thought, though. I don't like that one.
All right, so I'm a Mormon, member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and the reason why this ties into the AI conversation is because we believe we have to do the work for the dead, a la baptize them, seal them, do all their ceremonies by proxy, all the way back to Adam and Eve. And so we believe after the second coming of Jesus that we're going to have to go back and do billions and billions of proxy baptisms. Well, how do you do that? Well, once you load all of humanity's knowledge into an AI center, we'll have all their names, their date of births somehow. We don't know exactly how, but somehow past the singularity event, it'll happen. So for the one Mormon who's watching this right now, give me a CTR in the comments section. Choose the right.
And I think that's the biggest aspect that, you know, because a lot of people might be listening, right? And they might have this idea of like, you know, it's only me and my 2 employees, right? And, you know, we're not really in a tech business. We don't do a lot of sales, whatever. We're a small business. And I'd say like even still small business, large business, it doesn't matter sizing at this point. Everyone is going to be using it in some capacity or another, right? There is, I think, great example. At this point, every single morning, I do not open up my email first thing anymore. I open up Claude, and Claude reads through every single one of my emails and tells me prioritization from top to bottom, which email is most important. And then it orders them for me, right? And that's the type of thing that it also will now take any spam emails, anything to unsubscribe, and unsubscribes all of those, you know, junk promotional emails for me, right? And it's small use cases, I think, like that a lot of people
that really adds up.
It does. I mean, yeah, I used to be, especially, you know, when you have a bunch of emails that are coming to you from like former people's emails, all of that kind of thing. It's like we're talking about hundreds of emails just like gone per day, thankfully.
Oh yeah, every time we offboard an email, an employee, we forward all their junk to you, don't we?
Essentially, yeah.
They used to go to me. I used to have everything to me. My inbox is super clean these days.
Oh yeah, that is. Well, mine is too. Thanks, Claude.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, and that's the thing. I think the use case there is, and my point of that is that because we're talking about these giant use cases of building entire websites and entire internal software structures, but even more so, there is a small use case everywhere that has impact for, I think, somebody out there who probably just, you know, doesn't want to take the time to do it, right? Or they get 1,000 emails for certain things every day, right?
Okay, so that particular use case, what would we charge for that? Like, would we just do that on a single coaching call and be done?
I bet we could. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we should update the coaching page on our AI website to give that exact scenario. Book a call to automate or make your email efficient. That's worth $300 and some odd. Here's the package. Click the button. Book it. We'll help you do it. Because I think that's a great starting point for a lot of people. We need to package. And by the way, for those listening to this, following along the story, we're building in the open. We are building this service to everybody openly. So we want your feedback. We want to know like what resonates and what doesn't. If you like the idea that we could come in and optimize your email like that for $350 or whatever we end up charging, tell us. We need that feedback. We want to know what people want. So if you had a comment with, hey, I have this scenario, it'd be cool if we could do X, Y, Z, tell us it. Book a call with us. Send us a LinkedIn DM or email me directly at steven@myamazonguy.com. I want to hear your stories. Tell me how much it's worth as well if you want to be kind to me and help me do my market research. And we will probably do this at a discount in the first month in March while we figure this out, because we need that data badly to know how to go to market. So we're building in the open. We're selling before we have operations figured out. That's intentional because we want to be able to pivot to where people want to go.
I think that's the biggest thing as well, is that AI is something everybody's going to use. We keep saying that over and over again. Everyone's going to have a different use case. It's going to come down to what's the most common use case, especially for us, right? And what makes sense to even do, which exactly that, the email thing. Maybe that's something that people love at the end of the day, because I'll tell you, I love it. I can't stand spam promotional emails and newsletters and every other thing in the world that ends up happening.
All right. So what you need to do on your side is create a video demonstrating how to do this one. And at the end of that video, you're going to say, and by the way, if this is too complicated for you to do for yourself, book this link. I'll set it up for you. Here's the price tag and the link. And we'll see what it does. We'll see how many people are interested in that. And if one of these AI videos goes viral, we have a business. But most of the Amazon content I put out over the last 8 years did not go viral. nor did it need to, because the niche was a couple hundred Amazon sellers or VAs that watched the content, and that was enough. But with AI, there are millions of businesses that need that exact scenario. And I feel like the audience could be so much bigger. So I'm really excited about that. And we're going to be making a ton of content. Every time we come up with these scenarios, we're going to build content. And that's how Mag got so big so quickly. It's because every time a customer asked us a question, I would shoot a piece of content on it. And then that would lead to 10 more customers asking the same question, hiring me, etc. So I think we have the model figured out in terms of how we're going to go to market. I feel like we know what we generally want to do. We just don't know how we're going to get there. But we're going to do this market research. We're going to pivot to where people want to go and deliver that product accordingly. All right. So Noah, any other thoughts in your mind? Any other use cases you could share, or thoughts in general?
No, I mean, I'll be done with the new coaching page in probably the next like 30 to 60 seconds, though.
Nice. Well, let's pull up on screen after you do that, and then we'll probably end the content here. So while Noah is doing the finishing touches there, which is we're doing the work in the open, we're showing you the live changes as we do this. By the way, if you look at our website and think it's shit, tell us. We'll go fix it within an hour of you telling us it, because it's a brand new AI site with no designer, no UX guy, etc. And by the way, I used to work for Moxie Interactive, one of the largest agencies in the world, owned by Publicis. And I was in charge of redesigning Verizon Wireless's checkout funnels at one point in a very specific way, and also their mobile app redesign. And I took it from a shitty 2.7 stars on the Google Play Store to a shitty 3.4. And I'd like to take credit for that. And their checkout funnel, which I wasn't the main architect for that particular project, but I was heavily involved, had 3 different checkout funnels. So if you wanted to buy a phone, that was one checkout funnel. If you want to buy an accessory, that was a separate checkout funnel. And if you wanted to get a subscription for a phone service, that was the third one. And of course, it made no sense. So they combined all 3 together. That's what you get when you hire a bunch of Indians and build out stuff over time in the tech world. An AI bot will be superior to the duct tape worship that entailed. All right, how's that coaching page coming?
Just finished.
All right.
So there we go. All of that, general consulting, automate your email, in-depth systems audit, which we have immediately. So
perfect. Now we got to get some humanization on our robot page. So that's
I think that's the biggest thing. We can always add in, because that's one of the things with AI, especially, that like it's not gonna have resources that without you giving it that, right? So we could add it, have it be like,
I've done 6 photo shoots. You've done 2 photo shoots.
I know. That's why I think, next step here is let's throw some photos in there and it can start using them. So next time people look at site, actually probably by the time that this video is up and people are looking at site, there probably will be quite a few photos on there of us.
Good. I really like one of our designers, maybe used AI to build this, I don't even know, built out a really cool thumbnail today. In fact, I'm going to go pull it up and show it up on screen because I thought it was so cool.
Oh, the one that Brent did.
Yeah, the one that Brent did was really, really cool. I put it up over on LinkedIn. So let me see if I can go get that real quick. Struggling to get to the right location quickly, but I found it. And let's pull that up on a screen here. Share screen. So we're using StreamYard to shoot the video today. And when we stop the stream, here's the thumbnail. I thought that was really good. Like I think that should go on our website. Like that's how good I think it is.
I'll put it on the website.
Yeah, like AI is ready now. Like we have to figure out what our calling card is, so to speak. Like what we're gonna do to elevator pitch people, and I think AI is ready now. Might be part of that process, right? Because there's some FOMO. Hey, if it's ready, how am I missing?
It's the age-old thing. I think Amazon had it. Back in 2020, that was kind of like the Amazon FOMO time. Bitcoin, I feel like everyone has had FOMO about Bitcoin at least once before if they never bought it, and crypto in general. And I think AI, it's going to be that within just such a much faster thing. So I think with like Bitcoin and with like Amazon, it took a long time to like get to that point where people actually felt like they missed out. Whereas AI, I feel like it's just like snap, we're there already.
And that singularity event may come quicker than 2028, like I think. So, all right, we'll see, guys. So we need your feedback. Leave us a comment. We'll shoot a video on your comment. You'll get something out of it. So it's a win-win. And appreciate all you're doing, Noah, as you build out this AI business for the future of MagAI, or Magi, as I like to say.
Gotta do it all.